You're
Yeah.
welcome to On the Fence Podcast, your source for all things Washington Commanders related. We are your hosts, Kenny G and
Rev.
my guy. And today we're breaking down Washington's Week 6 Beltway battle against the Baltimore Ravens. It was everything we expected from these two teams. We saw both teams exchanging blows, but in the end, Baltimore's offensive efficiency and timely defense helped secure a 30-23 victory over our very own Washington Commanders. Now, we're going to get into it today's episode. Let's go.
Let's go.
We'll blaze a trail, raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders will prevail. Raise hell, raise hell. Hell to the commanders never fail.
In today's episode, we'll break down key plays from both teams, examine the Commanders' offense and defensive performances, highlight what Washington can take away from this game moving forward, and also dive into how the Ravens managed to dominate both through the air and on the ground and stifled Washington's defense when it mattered the most. Let's get right into that. All right, y'all. Let's start off with some key moments and highlights from week 6. Washington was able to accumulate a total of 305 yards against the Ravens, 484 yards. Washington had a total of 253 yards in the air versus the Ravens' phenomenal 308 in the air. But rushing wise, it was a little bit tough on the ground for our commander. They had 52 yards on the ground. Rough day. Ravens defense really living up to it. On the other hand, the Ravens have one of the best rushing offenses, and it showed with 176 yards on the ground against the Commanders. Time of possession was also dominated by Baltimore. They had 36 minutes and 8 seconds of possession versus the Commanders, 23 minutes and 52 seconds of possession. Washington fortunately had no turnovers, phenomenal, and was able to force one turnover on the Baltimore Ravens. Can you talk to us a little bit about some key highlights from the game?
Let's go. Let's go. Now to key highlights. Lamar Jackson delivered an amazing performance, doing what Lamar Jackson does, completing 20 of 26 passes for 323 yards while adding a touchdown through the air. Derrick Henry, we knew what Derrick Henry was going to do coming in. I mean, your bold prediction didn't wasn't too
Man,
bold,
it
bro.
was
Uh,
bold.
he didn't get under 99 yards. But he put up 132 yards and scored twice against our defense. Zay Flowers, for the second straight week, has gone over 100 receiving yards, added 132 yards through the air on 9 catches. Man, our defense is just so soft sometimes, man. I don't know what to do. But Joey got to get them boys in shape. Now, the Ravens defense, okay, they strapped up, man. They made some crucial stops when it mattered most, and they really held our offense to less than 100 yards on the ground. Actually, close to 50 yards. I forget less than 100. Now, Justin Tucker, man, that boy put up 3 field goals, man. He's
Clutch.
automatic. We know he's automatic,
He
man. Put
clutch,
up three
man.
put up them 3 field goals to help secure the lead in the second half for us. Well, not for us, for them, sorry. But yeah, man. So when it comes down to the Ravens, man, they put up some points against them boys.
Yeah, the Ravens really had a heck of a day against us, man. But we were in there toe to toe. Talk to us a little bit about what the Commanders did on the highlight reel.
Man, the Commanders, bro. You talking about our rookie quarterback, our sensation, Jayden Daniels. All in all, win or lose, okay. He put up a strong performance. All right, completing 24 of 35 passes, okay, for 269 yards on 2 TDs and no turnovers. Man, he even got the entire receiving core involved, man. I absolutely love how he spread the ball around, but most importantly, to our guy, Scary Terry, who caught 6 passes with 53 yards, but the key is them 2 tuds. He caught them 2 tuds from JD, man. Now, our offense struggled to keep up with their defense, but at the same time, but at the same time, we still played quite efficient for what, we couldn't move the ball, man. B Rob truly hurt us. We couldn't move the ball against them, but despite a late fourth quarter push, we were brought within a touchdown. So I can't ask for more out of our rookie quarterback. He's truly the highlight. Him and Terry are really the highlight of the show for our team.
Yeah, man, they really put it on. They really did. It was a tough win, and I think Dan Quinn said it best. It felt more lopsided than it actually turned out to be in the results, man. I was proud, even though it's a loss. I'm proud to see that we have a competitive team that can compete with a team that was one game away from the Super Bowl last year, man. That speaks a lot to what Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, Josh Harris, all of them are building. It's a new culture in Washington still, and even though we lost, we can still hold our heads on up high because we are still
Yes,
on the
sir.
right track. So let's keep going. And speaking of offensive performances, let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's break down some of the offensive matchups and go a little bit deeper into that now that we talked about some highlights. Breaking down the Commanders' offensive production, we're going to start off with that quarterback play. Our boy JD5 or Jedi 5, as Kenny and I like to call him, he had a really great performance. A little low on his completion percentage than what we're used to. He was 35. He had 35 attempts and he was 24 on those 35 for 269 yards, two tutties, both of those to our boy Terry. He also added 6 carries for 22 yards as well. Another really fascinating thing that Washington did, and it's not purely attributed to quarterback play, but I think JD5 has a big part in this next stat, and that is the fact that we are 9 for 9 on fourth down to start the season, which is impressive. First time a Washington team has done this since 1978, and the last team to do this was the Rams in 2004, which is a heck of a milestone. Can you talk to us a little bit about that stat and how you felt the quarterbacks fared in this game?
Man, listen, when it comes down to Jayden Daniels and the type of performance he's been putting together as a rookie in the
Mm-hmm.
NFL,
Mm-hmm.
I- we thought that someone couldn't top CJ Stroud last year, right? We didn't know
Facts.
like when would we, and then just for it to happen the following year, okay? The following year, not 5 years, not 10, not 20 years. We didn't think we'll see it
The
for a
very
long
next year.
while. Very next year, Jada
Yeah,
Daniels comes out, all right, and he is just playing so well. If I might add, I mean, yes, Lamar played an efficient game,
hmm
okay? He
he
played an
did.
amazing, efficient game, okay?
Lamar was killing it.
But yeah, he was, man. He was looking, he's looking like, honestly, he was looking like Vic. That was one of the things I was saying. Lamar was looking good yesterday. Now, when it came to Jaden Daniels, though, I just still feel like he played more of an efficient game. I mean, obviously, he didn't throw a pick like Lamar did.
Mhm.
Okay. At the end of the day, yes, in terms of completion percentage, that's like the one disparity between both of them. But the fact that I just felt like Jaden Daniels, like if Jaden had Derrick Henry in the backfield, I feel like he probably would have played. We would have won the game. Simple as that. Or if we had B Rob starting, we would have won the game. But the point is the fact that Lamar has Derrick Henry you know, to put behind him, okay? That
Yeah,
allows him to just keep the defense not only on their heels, but have to worry about so much between the misdirection that they have going, between lead handoffs and outside zone schemes, and them, keep just they keep the defense on their heels. They keep their defensive coordinators
absolutely. They did a
guessing.
great job of
Okay.
that.
Yeah, man. So when it comes down to that, man, that was it. We saw it firsthand. All right, they won. They won that game in the trenches, and Lamar just put. I feel like JD put on a better performance than Lamar Jackson. Simple as that. That's where I leave it as that. We might have lost the game, but overall, and I think Lamar might say the same thing. That's why he asked for his jersey at the end of the game.
Now that's real. That's real. They definitely put on a heck of a performance on there.
Yep.
Yeah, Jaden did his thing on there. You mentioned the run game with Derrick Henry for the Ravens. They were really able to get that, and definitely not having B Rob impacted Washington a lot on there. But let's jump right into some of what Washington was able to do in that run game. We mentioned that Jaden had 6 carries for 22 yards. He He surprisingly was our leading rusher, y'all.
Crazy
Ain't
enough,
that crazy? With
which is
22
sad.
yards, he was the
That's
leading
sad.
rusher. The Baltimore Ravens were able to hold us to a meager, was it 53 yards? Was it? Oh, my
50,
bad. I
52,
exaggerated. It was 52 yards is what they were
52.
able to hold us to on the ground, man.
Mm,
We couldn't get anything moving on there. They are the number one rush defense for a reason, and they looked
showed it.
like it yesterday, man. They
Mm,
showed up. Eckler had 9 carries for 21 yards and 4 receptions for 47 yards as well. So what he lacked on the ground, he made up for it in some reception. But
yeah,
it was crazy, man. Their front seven was really getting after it. They were getting after our offensive line, even though they still gave Jayden some time and he was doing his thing, holding it down. It just seemed like we needed just a little bit more power on the run, or
yep.
maybe to start exploiting that pass a little bit sooner. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. When it comes down to the pass, and you want to say we made some plays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, overall we made some plays on offense with the playmakers that we have on our team. Okay, so when it comes down to break it down to key moments between our wide receivers and tight ends, like for example Zach Ertz. Okay, Zach Ertz. I love the performance that he put together. 4 catches with 68 yards. I love it. He's such a savvy vet, man.
Man, I was
He's
looking at my parlay in the second half, like Zach Ertz ain't had a single catch. I need him to get at least 40 on this thing.
Hey,
And
listen.
Our boy G, sitting next to me was
Uh-huh.
like, "Well, that's one catch, bro. He could get like 20 in one catch." Surely enough, the moment he said that, the next catch, my boy Zach Ertz had 21 yards. I was like, "Hey, let's go, Zach.
Oh,
Let's
hey,
go."
he was on my fantasy. He was in my fantasy team yesterday too. So when he came alive in the second half, it was one of his better performances for the year.
Yeah, it
So
has been.
I was happy to see that. I mean, he led us in receiving yards with 68
Absolutely.
yards yesterday. I mean, JD was spreading the wealth. I mean, even when it comes to Terry, Terry had 6 catches for 53 yards, but those 2 tuds, truly
Hmm.
made a difference. Him
Hmm.
recording 2 receiver touchdowns in a single game. That's only his third time his entire career,
Impressive.
and his first time since week 4 of 2021 season. It's been three
Who's
years.
throwing the rock in 21? Was it Heineke?
I believe that was Wentz.
Was it Wentz? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
I believe so. I think once, yeah, I believe so. So, but with that being said, man, I'm really truly impressed with the way McLaurin is playing and how he's stepping up to the plate. Just because of the fact that, man, as I said, there was people were in question, at one point, in terms of him being our wide receiver one. But Terry McLaurin is going to have an amazing season with JD at quarterback. Man, he's reaping all the benefits of Jayden Daniels. Now, also on top of that, this who quietly made some plays was Noah Brown. When that
Hmm.
boy, when he's
Hmm.
healthy out there, man, he's gonna
That
make some
OSU
plays.
boys, them OSU boys, bro, they all can
OSU,
ball. They all can
OSU,
ball. Yeah,
he
Ohio
tallied,
State.
yeah, he tallied 4 catches with 58 yards yesterday, bro.
Mhm.
I mean, considering the fact that you have a receiving core that is underwhelming for most in comparison to most in the league, man. That's why I was talking to one of the Cowboys fans yesterday, and one of our friends, he said, "Man, I really don't know who like." That's why I know JD's the truth because I don't know anyone on your receiver core outside of Terry McLaurin. So
Mhm.
he's telling all these names, all these nobodies, these pedestrian players. The fact that JD is out here making plays with guys that he don't even know the name of on our roster says a lot, man. So I absolutely, love that where we are in terms of as a group and how we're just growing week to week. So I'm gonna let you go into the defense, Cyril. Let's get it.
Yeah, nah, JD is definitely the tide in which lifts all boats, man. The way he's spreading the wealth around. I would have loved to see Luke McCaffrey and Zacchaeus definitely get more involved. I know Zacchaeus had a couple looks, but he couldn't hold on to those things. But
Mhm.
let's talk about that defense and some of the things that the defense was able to do or not do in this game. There a couple key stats that I definitely want to highlight is the 3 sacks that we had on there. Dante Fowler Jr. was looking like our guy yesterday, man. He finished for 3 tackles for loss. He had 2 quarterback hits and 2 sacks. So 3 of
Mm,
those 2 sacks were all attributed to him. Bobby Wagner is just looking like an ageless wonder, man. He may have lost a step as far as what coverage can go, but he makes up for that in his tackling efficiency, man. He had 12
Yeah.
tackles, and he also had a quarterback hit to boot. Derrick Henry, as Kenny mentioned, had 2 scores on us for 132 yards on 24 carries. That, to me, really hurt when it comes to talking about our front seven. I know we had some injuries, too, that really hurt us a little bit there in that front seven, but it was a rough game from that standpoint. I loved what I saw early. I thought early
Mm.
we got some motion, we got some push. We were that interception, if you go back and look, was due to pressure. But it felt as though as time went on, especially after those injuries occurred, we weren't able to maintain that pressure, and that really came back to hurt us.
No question, no question, man. When it comes down to our team and our defensive front, this is the reason why. I mean, we're gonna go into someone that we lost today. We're gonna talk about that in a second. On our defensive front, but that boy Johnny Newton was out there balling.
He
I'm tell you that
was.
much. He was balling. He was playing well, man. I seen him made a play. He was making some splash plays. So I want to continue to see him do that. Obviously, every week to week, I want to see him grow, but he's gonna be forced to now. I mean, your boy's gonna be getting playing time.
Choice. He's definitely gonna
So
get some PT, man.
he getting PT. So but with that being said, man, I really want to go into our secondary play. Just evaluating the commander secondary and how to handle the Ravens passing attack. I mean, let's talk about the highlight. The one highlight that I do want to discuss is our boy Mikey,
Let me
okay?
get out
The
the shot so
Haitian.
you can see my background, man. Let me
There
get
you
out my
go.
shot real quick so
Our
you can
boy
see the
right
Haitian
there.
sensation right there.
Yes,
Frozone
sir.
himself right there going
Man,
crazy for you.
Sabase, Sabule, you know? Hey, no, but Sanders still, okay, our boy Mikey had 6 tackles yesterday, 1 pass defended, and also had his first career interception.
Let's go,
Big
Mikey.
shout out to our boy,
Let's
man.
go.
So
Let's
happy
go.
for him.
I
He
have a
was,
Haitian flag somewhere around here, but I don't know where it is. Otherwise, I'll wave. I'm gonna put some emojis or something on there for Haiti,
man,
though.
listen, he was my pick for defensive rookie of the year. If he keeps balling like this, he's gonna win it. Okay.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, bro, like I just love the way he's playing. I love the way he's just growing within the defense. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it with that in terms of Mikey. So big shout out to him. Now I gotta go into the rest of the defense as we're talking about secondary play, right? St. Juice, man, he got handsy, man. He was getting handsy with them PI calls. One that was very questionable that was on Rashad Bateman. He fell during one of the most crucial drives of the game. Okay, he clearly fell. The announcer saw it. The whole world saw it. All right. The one thing I can't stand is when we lose to the refs. Like when it's not like leave it on the field. Let the boys play. You know what I'm saying?
We ain't lose to the refs, bro. These boys got to be accountable. If you getting too handsy, the refs gonna get you for that. And as much as I'm a St. Juice believer. I don't want to go with none of those excuses this year, man. Like it wasn't the refs. He should have kept it. I saw the same thing you saw. I saw it too, bro. Trust me. But
I
he should
don't
have
know,
kept his
bro.
hands a little bit different to himself. And NFL, go ahead and get those Amazon cameras so y'all know what's going on. I got to speak into the mic because I want y'all to hear that.
Hey, listen. At the end, in my eyes, I feel as if Saint Juice, has to play better. Like, there's no question. He was
Don't you
getting
think he's
burnt. He,
playing above his level though, bro? I think that St. Jude's every week battles, man. Like he's playing up every single week. We're asking him to be a number one when in most people's team he'd be a two.
I have high expectations of Saint Juice, man.
Okay.
I really
All right.
do.
I like it.
Uh, I really do. He has the build. He's the prototypical build.
Definitely. I think he could be
Uh,
a dog and this defensive staff is the
he's
one to bring it out.
and that's where I'm at. And it's like what I'm saying is yes, he does play well in certain weeks, and then other weeks he comes back down. It's like he has up and down. I just need to see consistency. If you're going to be a average player, just be an average player consistent. Don't be great one week and then suck the next. Like I need you to just be consistent. That's it. Like
Respect.
show us who you are. Because some week we believe the same juice could potentially be a Pro Bowl corner, like in some weeks, and then other weeks we're like, dude, can we like we'll cut you today, so it's just I just need him just to be consistent. That's it. That's all. So we struggled, man. We struggled against Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, as I said, he put up a consecutive 100-yard game against a well,
132 that boy had.
on 31,
132.
32. Yeah, on 9
Crazy.
catches, man. He made some explosive plays, especially third down. Like third down
Mhm.
efficiency killed us. Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman was killing us on third downs.
Mhm.
I listen, and all 132 yards, okay, from Flowers came after halftime. You understand what I'm saying? A
No, it came
44-yard
before half.
catch.
It came before the
I'm
half.
sorry, before, my
Yeah,
bad,
like
before halftime,
come
not
halftime,
after.
Zay was just drinking Gatorade for the rest of the game, dog.
You're right. It
After
wasn't
halftime, he
after.
was
It was
chilling.
before.
He was good after that. He was just there to keep us in those 8 man boxes because it had us switching up. So they just was they were we were playing whatever we did, bro. It just felt like we were in a spider web, bro.
Facts. You're right. Because I actually meant to say before, because it definitely wasn't after. Because Derrick Henry had 38 yards going in halftime.
Correct.
He had
And
38 yards and then ended the game, okay, with over 100 yards on the ground. So with that being said, it just tells you enough in terms of what they had to do. They had a game plan. They came in, they hit us with the pass, so it was breaking us down third down. In the second half, they just killed us. They controlled the clock. They truly controlled the clock through the ground game and was getting those third down conversions consistently. Yeah, man. So and when it comes down to it, as I said, I mean, your boy Mark Andrews had a big 38-yard catch, okay, and another one of 15 yards. He totaled at 66
6
yards.
in a
Yeah,
tug.
66 yards and a tutty
I'm
for
not
the
gonna
day,
lie, that was
man.
good for my fantasy, but it ain't feel
Man,
good seeing it live, but it
hey,
was super good for my fantasy though. I ain't gonna
I
hold
ain't
you.
want to say I ain't gonna say too much about fantasy, but I had Zay Flowers on my fantasy, so I was kind of like, I was rooting him on a little bit, but
Man, I can't say I was rooting them on. I'm just saying it was good for my fantasy.
I beat Marv too, by the way. I beat Marvelous this week in fantasy.
Hey, it's cool, Marvelous. We
Shout out
still
to our
love
boy
you.
Marvelous.
We still love you, Marvelous. But speaking on defense, I just want to touch real quick on some of the tackling that I saw. I definitely saw some good tackling when it came to running initially, but as time went on, things definitely started to wear down. And I really feel like that had to do with some of the injuries in our front seven there as
Sure.
well too. But I really love how we were able to get in that turnover margin and that turnover, go back and watch it for yourself, man. That was harmony between the rush and the pass defense. And I felt like as the game went on, we lost that rush. And that's why we stopped getting turnovers and we stopped generating as much pressure. We blitzed so much in this game and we weren't able to get there. And when we started to stack the box to stop Derrick Henry, it's like he got stronger. He was on some Super Saiyan stuff, bro. It's like the more we tried, the stronger he got. He had 93 yards against those 8 man boxes, and we were really trying to stop that. So it was really intense on that turnover margin. I'm glad we were able to get one. I'm glad it came from Mikey Sanders himself. But we got to get better when it comes to wrapping up on those tackling.
Question. No
I'm
question.
looking forward to the fact that this is probably the best rushing attack we're going to face this season. So I'm
Right.
looking forward to the fact that we may not have to see anything else like that, and that could really bode well for this team. But Raven, we see you in the Super Bowl. We want
In the Super
all
Bowl.
that smoke, okay?
There you go. I feel you. So let's jump right into special teams. Special teams. My guy, my guy. Austin Seibert, the cyborg.
Yep, Austin the cyborg.
We love him, man. I knew after that Giants game, and we found our franchise kicker. I said it.
Definitely.
I said it's an irony. At halftime, I called it. I said, you know what? We're going to win this game by field goals. I said, but what it's going to prove to us is that we have our franchise kicker. And listen, man, he missed one. He shanked one, but I believe it got hit. If I wasn't mistaken, because the way they were running off the sideline, I didn't go back and look at it. But from what I saw, it wasn't going in from the start. As soon as it went off his
Mhm.
foot, I believe it hit somewhere on the sideline and it just went. I mean, not the sideline, hit someone, one of the defenders' hands, and that thing just floated to the sideline. So, with that being said, but he made 3 field goals, man, and he also set his new career long for 55 yards in the third quarter.
Wow.
His previous career long
Yeah.
was 53 yards. That was in week
Which
14 of the 2019 season.
ooh,
So with that being said, man, I mean the kid is balling for us. He's doing really well. Like he's been efficient. That was his first miss on the season. What more can you ask for?
mhm,
If he keeps this pace up, he may be a Pro Bowl kicker for us this year. And
mhm.
I absolutely just love the way he's come in. He stepped up. He stepped up. And we've been in. You knew what we went through as far as our kicker situation going through this off season, and one of our guys getting
Man,
accused of something crazy. But
man, McManus, a wild boy for that.
yeah, he's wild for that one.
And
So
it's still a
so
legend though. It's still a legend, but still, he a
that's
wild boy for even getting
it
them
is.
charges like that, bro.
I
It,
know, I know. So, with that being said, man, I absolutely love what we've done. Also, Tressway had an amazing game. He kept
mhm.
pinning them. He was
Pinning them
pinning them
deep.
boys, man. He
Yeah.
was pinning them deep every time. He's a weapon, no question. He's a weapon. And one thing I'm gonna say, man, Tress. I really don't want to see you on the field, but when you do come out on that field, my boy, you got a leg. Trust he always delivers. He always delivers, man. I
That's why he
promise
was
you,
our
always delivers.
MVP for the longest.
He was, man. Absolutely love Trust. I hope he never retires, man. I hope Trust plays
Oh man.
plays well into his 40s, man. I actually love Trust.
You want to see Tress play till his son come over and take the ranks, huh?
There you go. There you go. No question.
Get both.
But yeah, man, now that we cover special teams, I would definitely want us to go into things that hurt us. Things that
Man.
hurt us. Reb, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you cover that.
Man, this game had a lot of things that hurt, honestly, man. But even though we had some things that felt good, but there were a lot of things that hurt. Let's start out first with penalties. Penalties hurt, man. We had 6 penalties, which gave them 46 extra yards, man. Those were like pivotal. There's those PIs that we
Hmm.
mentioned. One of them is a PI allegedly, but you know how we talk about that. We're taking accountability for that. To boot with the PIs and the other penalties, injuries, man. We felt the absence of B Rob. We felt
We do.
the injuries across our defensive front. Those things impacted us as that game went on. Those were all
Yeah.
accumulating to things that caused a lot of pain for us, man. And
Hmm.
third down efficiency. I want to talk about
Terrible.
things that were painful. Our third down efficiency in this game is the lowest it's been, I think, so far this season, maybe. I have to go back and
Definitely.
double check on that, but it's one of the lower ones I've seen.
For
It's
sure.
33% to the Ravens, 60%. I have to mention the Ravens, what they did, because that's what hurt. It felt like third down, there was nothing we could do to stop them, man. It was like they were playing
Yep.
GTA with all the cheat codes on, bro. It was crazy to see. Um, Time of possession is another thing. They dominated the time of possession. What was it? 36:08 to our meager 23 minutes. They kept JD off the field, man. That to me is probably going to be the formula that teams try to take to beat us. Is the only way to beat this team is to make us hurt by having JD on the field. So keep your offense on the field. Um,
Yep.
and
Not too many
lastly,
teams that could do that, not to cut you off, but
very
the
few
Ravens
teams.
are one of the only teams that can do that. And other than that, man, good luck, NFL.
Yeah. Honestly, in our schedule coming up, there's going to be very few teams that we're playing that I think can do that. Even though there are teams like Pittsburgh that we got to watch. And, a lot of people might think I'm crazy for saying this, but I have the utmost level of respect for Chicago's defense. So when that Chicago game
Sure.
comes, as exciting as I am about that game, I also think that's going to be one of those defenses that really test us on there. And I think going forward, we got to watch that time of possession and see how teams try to play us in that and try to minimize the amount of hurt on there. But the last thing that really hurt, and this one was like one play by one player on the Ravens, and he got there, and it's Jones. Jones, one of their
Mm.
defensive tackles, he came up with a really clutch sack on third down to force us into a field goal, and that sack was his first of the season, and it closes out. But he also had 2 tackles for loss, and I think him getting that sack, if we would have been able to move the ball a little bit and not have to settle for that field goal, that could have really changed some things around. But this isn't a shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of league. It's a what have you done for me lately kind of league. So we got to roll with that energy on that. Kenny, what are your thoughts on that?
What really stood out to me though, Rab, was this injury report. Coming into this game, I thought that it was gonna hurt us. I
Mm-hmm.
really did,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know it was gonna hurt us this much. Because I was
It
like, man, we
hurt.
got Eckler, we got McNichols. Like I didn't think that B Rob being out was gonna hurt us this
Mhm.
much, man. I underestimated that Ravens defense, bro. They held us to. I mean, dude, Jayden Daniels was our leading rusher with 22 yards. Like
That's
that's
crazy.
stat.
That's
That
crazy.
stat alone, Jayden Daniels, and it's not like we did design runs for him. Those was just on a couple scrambles,
Yep.
like a couple few little scrambles, but nothing significant. Like that's insanity to me. That's how you knew like our
Mhm.
time of possession was not there. I didn't even have to look at it. All you had to do is show me that stat, and I would have known we would have lost. We'd have lost the game, and we would have lost the time of possession battle. Also, as DQ always says, he likes that rule of five, that 55 play rule.
Mhm.
So meaning if we get over 55 plays, that's when he knows we're in a green light. Like, okay, now we're in a position to win this game. And we didn't do that. Okay. So with that being said, man, that injury, B Rob truly, truly hurt us. It hurt us in the red zone. We noticed it time and time again. And it just hurt us, in between the tackles, man. We needed to be able to get those extra yards and just have B Rob in the game as well. So now one of the big injuries that I wanted to get into is Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen, okay? Our head coach Dan Quinn confirmed today that he has tore his left pectoral muscle in our game on Sunday. Unfortunately, man, he's out for the season. It's looking like I'm be honest with you. I wanted to trade him. Okay, I really did. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's bittersweet because I'm like, man, he's not even on contract next year, and his contract is expendable to say the least. But point I'm trying to make is that we can't even utilize him through his last year of his contract, and I know we already have the foundation. That's why we have Mathis. That's why we have Newton. That's why we drafted Newton as high as we drafted Newton because we knew that one of these D linemen, more than likely Jonathan Allen, was going to be out the door. But with
Mhm.
that being said, I really wanted to get some type of trade, some capital back for him, especially at the deadline, which they more than likely could have potentially done, closer to the deadline if we're trying to make a play at cornerback or at receiver. But with that being said, man, Jonathan Allen is also a vocal leader. He's been with us through all the bad times. Okay, he's spent his entire career with us. So I got to give it to him. He's definitely a great leader, and when he's on one, you already know he could be one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So it's a blow. It's a blow losing
It's a
him
big
on
time blow,
defense.
man. It is a
Yeah,
big time.
yeah. And with that being said, we also had, outside of Jonathan Allen, we had another injury on our defensive front, which is our leading sack rusher this year, Dorrance Armstrong. Dan Quinn's boy brought him over from Dallas. Been loving, Dorrance Armstrong in terms of the what he's brought to our team thus far. So losing him during the game definitely was a blow. We felt that. Him and Allen, and then on top of that, we lost Javante Jean Baptiste. Okay, he sustained a ankle injury. All right, so those are three players, rotational players, two starters and one rotational player on our defensive front that we lost in that game, which also allowed them to ground and pound in the second half. I
Yeah, and they
truly
got really
believe
after us. That's where those 132 yards came from for real,
that's
man.
what I'm saying because we had the that extra 100 yards because, like I said, Derrick Henry was held to 38 yards in the first half. Now, what we were doing was a lot of people didn't notice. We had a three defensive tackle front. We had Newton, Payne, and Allen. So in all the short yardage situations, or when we saw they were going jumbo, we brought three big boys in. Okay, three athletic big boys that were clogging the front. Like having those three on, like that man, having those three on the field was absolutely a beauty to watch. Okay, so at the end of the day, that hurt us, man. This is our injury report for this game, but for the season, okay, it's going to affect us. We don't know what's going to happen with Javante Jean Baptiste, and we don't know what's going to happen with Dorrance Armstrong just yet. DQ hasn't given us anything yet, based on the first interview. But the one thing we do know is that we lost John Allen for the rest of the season. So with
Yeah,
that being said, Rev, how do you feel about that?
man, losing John Allen was a big blow. Definitely, he's one of those forces in that middle of the field that clogs things up, and we felt that effect of him not being in there anymore. Honestly, all of these injuries across the front seven has me feeling like we need to call up the Jets and see what they want to do with that Hassan Reddick trade, man. Seriously, because we got the capital. we got the cap space where we could pay a guy like
I
that.
went with that.
He used to play in the NFC East with the Eagles, so having him back in there could be
Familiar.
something that could potentially really rock out, man. I'm interested to see how this is going to really shape the narrative going into the trade deadline, because I think that that's where that's going to be the most impactful, is in that trade deadline, how things go. All right, let's jump into our closing remarks and some
Oh,
looking
yeah.
ahead and takeaways from this game. So, with this game coming to an end the way it did, from a commander standpoint, I really loved what I saw from Jayden Daniels. It's hard not to like the kid. Our completion percentage dropped, but we all knew that was going to happen. He still stood in there and really carried the team on the back. I honestly feel like if we would have got one more drive, we would have been able to tie that game. And that's why Baltimore made sure that they didn't let us get back on the field. They had to convert. There was that moment where it was big for them. But I'm looking forward going ahead. The defense is still a little bit shaky, specifically in our secondary, but I'm confident that we will get that addressed down the line. If it's not this season, it's definitely going to be next season. But I think that as these boys get more time to gel, communicate a little bit better, and to see what our front office cooks up, I think a combination of those elements are going to lead to some good things for us defensively. Offensively, I'm so looking forward to seeing when B-Rob gets back. I think that's going to really open some things back up. Honestly, in this next matchup against Carolina, I'm not hard pressed for him to come back, but I can understand
Mhm.
if the team does want to get him back on there. What about you, Kenny? What you got as far as your takeaways from this game?
My takeaway is, man, it was a hard fought game. It was something that uh, I can't be upset. We can't,
Yeah,
we can't hang our head. All right. Of course, we wanted to win. We wanted bragging rights against the Ravens. Okay, but I was riding on the momentum that we had, but
hmm,
we had a bit of a wake up call coming against the Ravens. Cliff Kingsbury, Jayden Daniels, they're cooking up though, man. They truly are. Our defense does need to perform better. I do want to see a better performance just overall, defensive front, defensive backfield. But the way we played though, man, we left it all out on the field. Okay, we truly did. If we had that last possession, like I said, it was gonna come down who had the ball last, and the Ravens had the ball
hmm,
last. We lost by a
hmm,
touchdown, nearly how I predicted. And I said it was gonna come down to the ball last. If JD had the ball last, you already know damn well he was gonna go down that field and he was gonna score. Nothing was gonna stop him.
Oh
You could
yeah, he
see it
had
in
that
his
look in
eyes.
his face. He had that
Yeah,
look in his face.
he had that look in his eyes. He already knew he struck. He knew he could strike fear in that defense because every single
Hmm.
time they respected him. If you looked at post game interviews, all those interviews from the Ravens players, they respect JD, man. They truly,
Yeah,
truly do, man. That says a lot. That says a lot about the type of player that we have at our quarterback position. And every week he's just improving, man. So my main takeaway is improvement. All right, we didn't beat the Ravens. Yes, we took a loss, but we left it out on that field. All right, and we still improved in terms of the type of performance that we put out. And I'm excited just to see what we're gonna do for the rest of the season. Our schedule is quite favorable to us. It's at our advantage. We were last in the division last year, so hey, we don't control the schedule. But at the end of the day, I'm truly looking forward to what we're gonna do for the rest of the season. I truly, truly see us making a play for the playoffs, man. No question, not a doubt in my mind. We're going to be some contenders in the playoffs, man. Watch out, NFL.
yeah, man. Definitely agree with you. I think that this team is on the way and is poised to a good playoff push on there. Looking ahead, definitely, I think that things are looking bright for us going forward. And I'm excited to see how this team continues to come together offensively and see if we can patch up some of those defensive woes on there to truly get a push. And who knows, maybe we might be able to finesse something at the trade deadline and get something moving on that front on there.
Need that.
But
Need
I'm
that.
excited. I felt like, being a fan for so long, like we have, and even just from last season to this season, last season, a game like this, we would have been so dejected. But to be able to walk away from this game upset that we took a L, but still having so much hope for what's to come and still being proud of how our team competed, I think to me, that's a major takeaway. And I'm looking forward to all that's to come ahead for the Commanders. All right, y'all, that's it for this episode of the On Defense podcast. We covered this Week 6 matchup, Baltimore versus the Washington Commanders. Join us on our next episode where we'll be talking a little bit about the preview of Week 7 and all that's to come ahead. Talk to the people, Kenny, as we get out of here.
Listen, man, I want y'all to know this is the People's Podcast. This is for you guys. This is all for our Washington Commander community.
Amen.
We welcome everyone into our community. We absolutely, love and all that. We want you to like, share, subscribe, smash all the buttons possible. Okay,
Yeah.
minus that button. Only this button.
Only those
Okay,
buttons
no,
like that.
but sincerely, we really do appreciate the Washington Commander community, man. This is the People's Podcast. You guys absolutely mean the world to us. We love the support that you're giving us thus far, and we can't wait for you guys to stay tuned for what we have upcoming. We're only gonna grow. We're only gonna improve, and we listen. We really appreciate you guys being on this journey with us, man. And I just want to say, left hand up.
Left hand up. Like Kenny said, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next episode here on the On the Fence podcast. Let's go.
Through every game, we'll never fail. Fuck Dallas, we'll blaze a trail.